Hey everybody, this is TJR. Today I want to talk about two posthumous releases by two major, influential music artists. The first is entitled Originals by Prince. The second is Spine Through a Keyhole by David Bowie. Now, interestingly enough, there's a couple things these two releases have in common. Both sets feature unreleased demos, and both were released with a certain level of exclusivity. At first, anyways. I'll begin by discussing Originals by Prince, which was released by Warner Brothers Records on June 7th exclusively through the Tidal streaming service first, before getting a worldwide release on June 20th this last week. Originals features original demo versions of songs that Prince wrote and then gave to other artists to record. This includes many well-known tracks like Manic Monday, recorded by the Bangles, and Jungle Love, recorded by The Time. Recently, the Prince estate released the album Piano and a Microphone, an unreleased live recording of Prince alone at the piano, capturing ideas for songs in progress. This was recorded, I believe, while he was on tour, and he just had someone set up a microphone, and he just started to play, and he just started to record. While this particular release may not have been for everybody, it was undeniably amazing to hear Prince's prowess on the piano. I previously had no idea that he was that good on the piano, and also just how amazing he sounded while just simply trying to just get some ideas out. So it's no surprise just how amazingly complete and detailed these demos, quote unquote, sound, and just how closely most artists followed the template that he gave them. Even when putting together a demo, Prince put in a lot of time and attention to detail, and all of that comes through in the listening. These demos come tremendously close to being fully realized and completed recordings. Now, usually demos fall into the, well, that's interesting category, with some standing up in their own right. I'm thinking right now of the Beatles' Esher demos that were recently released for the White Album. For a collection of demos intended for different artists, Originals comes off as a lot of fun and a surprisingly consistent release. I know that Piano and a Microphone was not necessarily everybody's cup of tea, and even not necessarily every Prince fan's cup of tea. But I have a feeling that you're going to feel quite differently about Originals, and I strongly suggest you check it out. It was previously only available on Tidal, but now it's available everywhere on streaming. So let's talk about the David Bowie release. Now, this was initially released back in April 2019 as a 7-inch vinyl box set of singles featuring 9 previously unreleased recordings from the late 60s. This would be David Bowie's earliest period when Space Oddity was first conceived. This set has also just received a worldwide release on streaming services this last weekend. Now, unlike the Prince collection, these demos mostly feature a very young David Bowie on acoustic guitar. These kind of rough demos are the kind of rough tracks that you usually get as bonus tracks on a re-release of a major album. The major album being the main course, and the demos being the after-dinner appetizer or dessert, depending on how you look at it. So how do these demos hold up without the main course? Unlike the Prince release that I just mentioned that feels like a solid meal, these demos, I have to say, don't. Now, I realize that these are just simply rough acoustic demos, a few with some very minimal multi-tracking, and I'll admit, a few of them sound fairly decent. And yes, from a historical perspective, they are definitely a must-listen for any David Bowie fan. But most of them I would probably not listen to for enjoyment. I can tell that these demos are Bowie trying to get the idea down, but oftentimes his vocals and his guitar begin to distort. Even the David Bowie website mentions in their pre-release statement that Bowie's enthusiastic strumming oftentimes hits into the red. And it's for this reason that a couple of the tracks become, at times, quite unlistenable. Personally, I can't imagine David Bowie wanting these tracks released for this very reason. Now, Spine Through a Keyhole ends with 2 very different acoustic demos of Space Oddity. The first one is entitled Space Oddity Excerpt. It features some very interestingly different lyrics, but It is only an excerpt of the entire demo. I do not understand why they did not include the entire demo, but I'm going to guess that perhaps time and tape degradation made only this portion of the recording listenable. I honestly don't know. I haven't seen the box set, but I would hope that it explains this in the liner notes. If anyone out there does have it, and if the liner notes do explain this, please let the rest of us know in the comments. The second demo of Space Oddity features a much more complete version. The song is definitely coming together. It is multi-tracked, and it is the most complete demo on the set. This one features the most complete listening experience. Personally, I'm very sorry that I can't be more positive about these recordings. I do recognize that they are historically significant, and I do recommend them for that reason. However, I can't imagine getting the 7-inch vinyl set. I guess I'm just not hardcore enough of a fan to want it. But this is why it's great that these tracks are now available on streaming services, and why I recommend all David Bowie fans to check them out on streaming. And by the way, if buying this 7-inch vinyl set makes your life happier, then more power to you. This is TJR. These are my thoughts on these two releases. What do you think? Have you listened to them? Please share with me your thoughts. If you really like what I'm doing and want to help me make more videos, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Pledging as little as the cost of a cup of coffee every month will make a huge difference if enough of you do it. And even if you can't be a Patreon supporter and you do like what I'm doing, please remember to click like, click subscribe, and be sure to ring the bell, as everybody on YouTube is saying these days, so you can know when I release new videos. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.